And someone said, I noticed, oh, so Ina again, I noticed you never use filler words. Thank you. So that is something that is partially trained for. And I suppose that's really the best way I can put it is you can train for that. One thing you can do to train yourself out of using filler words is it's really very simple. Every single time you use a filler word, you have to force yourself to stop, go back and say what you actually meant to say. So for example, if I am in a conversation, I go, well, yeah, oh, I meant to say, well, I'm going to be speaking at WAFA this week instead of, well, like I'm going to be speaking at this like event thing. So it's really about making sure that you can practice getting yourself to not say them any longer. And it's really hard to do that practice in a high stakes situation or in a professional situation because it's way too awkward to actually stop yourself after saying, or like, and literally go back to the beginning of the sentence. So I would recommend training yourself out of those words in a lower stakes situation, potentially with friends, when you're at home, with your family members, and ask them to hold you to it. And it's great for them too, because they'll become aware of their own filler words or their own little phrases that they go to. So you can say to your friends, hey, look, I'm really trying to stop saying, please help me with that. Call me out if I say it, because a lot of the times we're not even aware. So have people call you out on it that you trust, that are in low stakes situations, and then force yourself when you say it, literally go back, and it'll create a new trend and a new response in yourself. So I hope that helps. Let's see. Wow, great questions, guys. I love this. Let's see, from Shari. I found that if I don't speak quickly, I more easily get interrupted. At least that is my perspective. Do you think it's speed or something else? So Shari, are you currently on the call right now? I'd love to actually talk to you for a moment if you want to go off mic.
Yes, I'm here.
Hi, Shari. How are you? And also, Wendy seconded your question. Wendy L said, Shari's question is great. I hear this from a lot of my female clients, a little bit less from my male clients. And I think that this is, again, because of just socialization and gender roles. But I would love to have you to speak to me in your own words and tell me about when this happens to you.
I find sometimes that if I start to speak, of course, this is when we were in person, but if I start to speak at the same time as somebody else, it's that if I don't speak quickly, then I can't continue the conversation. The other person ends up speaking before me. But also sometimes if I pause in my conversation, then people more easily or quickly interrupt and then change the subject or finish what I was saying. So it can be either beginning to speak or while I am speaking.
Got it. Okay. I think for you, what could be helpful is working on your melody and where you're pausing. Because even just now, when I heard you speak, I think that there was an opportunity to make it a little bit clearer when you were pausing for breath and when you were pausing because your idea was finished. So I think that that's something that some of us do struggle with is really truly melody. As we were talking about earlier, we talked about breath and breathing with the diaphragm. One of the reasons that's so powerful is not only does your voice sound so much more beautiful, but it allows you to have more air so that you have to take less pauses. And when you're pausing a lot, or when you're pausing in awkward moments where you're lacking a bit of melody, it's actually harder for your listener or your audience to know when you're done speaking. So if I pause like this and then finish my sentence, it's a little bit tougher to know, oh, is she finished speaking? Is she thinking? I'm not totally sure. So Shari, we can always chat a little bit more offline, but I do think you have an opportunity to work on a little bit of your melody and maybe a little bit of your breathing. I think that'll help just to give people clear signals. Oh, okay, she's done with her idea. And yeah, I think that'll be a huge help. So thank you so much for that question. Fantastic question. It does come up a lot with my female clients, and definitely happy to talk with you one-on-one offline. And let's see, more questions. I love this. Thank you so much, everyone. It's always so fun when I have a group of people that are super interactive. Let's see, we have more questions. I'm just looking through. So Corey has another question. Oh, you were answering about getting rid of fillers. So I'll read this to the group. Corey said he learned to get rid of filler words by having a person listen to them and give me feedback. exactly. For example, you could ask a person in a meeting to listen for ums, then put a little check mark down for each one. Awesome. Corey, great advice. 100% agree. Really hold yourself accountable socially for any of these changes that you want to make. I think awesome, awesome advice. Totally second that. And let's see. Sandy had also asked for me to answer Sherry's question, which we did. Awesome. So glad that came up. Another question. Jeannie Barnett, also the opposite when you go down into a gravelly end to sentences, glottal fry. Yes, thank you, exactly. Okay, awesome. I'm glad that you enjoyed that, thank you. Sandy was responding. I'm just gonna read through. Let's see. And then, let's see.
Melanie,
Mhm.
Melanie, the question I had, which was a follow-on to Sherry's, was
Yeah.
is it a speed aspect that is the cultural dynamic of a team? Like maybe the team all speaks really quickly. So if you speak slower relative to your team, then you get interrupted. Or if it's an individual thing, like for women, exactly, a lot of times if you're the only woman, they interrupt you. So I was curious to know your thoughts.
Yeah, thank you, Sandy. I appreciate you coming on mic and explaining that. Thank you. I think that there's multiple levels really to this concern. One is that some of my female clients that are in more male dominated industries, it can potentially be an issue that is gendered, where it is a little bit more challenging to speak up and to be heard and to not be interrupted. So that can partially be part of it. You bring up an excellent point, which is that if other people on your team are speaking more quickly than you, that can actually be part of the issue. One thing that allows people to connect is mirroring. So this is helpful for everybody on the call, male, female, no matter what. Mirroring is doing what the other person is doing to make them feel more comfortable with you. So for instance, if someone is leaning over like this, you can lean over like this and talk to them. Or if someone is speaking at a slow pace, you can meet their slow pace. And vice versa. If someone's speaking at a really fast pace, then maybe you speed up your pace too. So I think that mirroring is something that is a very easy tool for all of us to use, where you can help the other people in the room feel more comfortable with you. Again, matching their pace, matching their tone, matching how they're moving their body position, that can all be very helpful. So mirroring, I think, is something you can think about. And to Sandy's point, it may be helpful for Sherry if there's other individuals in the room that are speaking much more quickly than her. It may behoove her to try to play with the idea of speaking a little bit more quickly to help match them. So certainly great points that you brought up.